Horizon Forbidden West's DLC has caused quite a firestorm online because some people think it's great they've expanded upon Aloy's character, while others are really upset with the direction they've taken her in. But of course, people can't simply disagree on things like this because Metacritic is now vowing to change their moderation systems over what they're deeming an abusive and disrespectful review bomb. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So starting off with this Games Radar article, Metacritic promises stricter moderation following the review bomb. Metacritic has promised to implement stricter moderation after Horizon Forbidden West's Burning Shore DLC was subject to abusive and disrespectful reviews from players. Now, I did talk about this in another video, and of course, it will be linked down below in case you want to go and view it. But I am someone who was unimpressed with what they did with Forbidden West and the DLC. I really enjoyed the first game in the series. I thought Zero Dawn was pretty freaking good, but unfortunately, the second game just did not live up to my expectations. It was practically a copy and paste of the first game, and while yes, there were new areas and some new mob types, it just felt more of the same content, and I was expecting a little bit more. And the direction they took the story in wasn't my favorite. I just felt like they were trying all of these new and different things, but they couldn't capture the essence and the excitement that the original did. And now that the DLC has released, people are pretty upset because they decided to make a relationship with Aloy, where of course she has a romantic interest in a female, and while that isn't a giant problem to me, it's very odd, right? Because in the first game, Aloy did flirt with a lot of men, and a lot of men flirted with her, and there was no indication that they were going to take her romantic relationships in this direction. And of course, a lot of people feel like it's Sony who is doing this, right? They're only doing it for an agenda, because that is just what Sony does, right? They try to make different female characters, they try to make them less attractive, and they try to make them unique and original, and of course extremely empowered. And a lot of people were pretty upset with this direction that they took Aloy in. And of course, people took to social media and platforms like Metacritic to voice how unhappy they were. But now, instead of just allowing people to discuss what they're unhappy about, Metacritic is vowing to change their moderation. It says, earlier this week, we reported that the DLC was being review bombed by fans over the DLC's length and story features, and these were also some major problems. When you release a DLC, it can't just be an hour or an hour and a half of content with one small area. You have to give us a lot of new story, a lot of new bosses, NPCs, gear, maybe even a new mechanic. These are the expectations that people have at this point, and they just didn't meet them. It says, though, plenty of players also vented hatred towards the Burning Shores expansion over a kiss between Aloy and Seika. But now they have actually released a statement to Eurogamer saying Fandom, who of course is the parent company of Metacritic, is a place of belonging for all fans, and we take online trust and safety very seriously across all of our sites, including Metacritic. Metacritic is aware of the abuse and disrespectful reviews of Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores, and we have a moderation system in place currently to track violations of our terms of use, and our team reviews each and every report of abuse, including but not limited to racist, sexist, homophobic, insults to others, etc. And if violations occur, the reviews are removed. We are currently evolving our processes and tools to introduce stricter moderation in the coming months. Now, they do admit that they already have moderation tools in place, but they also have a team that reviews each and every report. And even though they're a private company, they've got to allow freedom of speech or else their platform is invalid. They could make a system that will catch, reviews that use certain derogatory terms such as the N-word, but the problem with doing that is who decides what these terms are. And we don't know these individuals, but clearly they are sifting through every single review looking at what is offensive, and the problem is what they deem is offensive. Yes, there are terms out there that the majority of people agree are derogatory, but you also have to consider people who dislike the use of general profanity. Is that now going to be moderated by them? The issue is that we don't know what will be on this list. Anything could be removed and they could give any reason. You're literally asking people to post their opinion. That's the point of the site, and by removing reviews you disagree with, in my opinion, invalidates anything posted to your site because it's not genuine. They could remove 500 negative reviews and severely sway scores. Of course, Metacritic stopped short at outlining what these tools to tackle hateful and abusive messages actually are, but as Eurogamer notes, however, Metacritic has already begun manually removing select user reviews from its website for this DLC, which of course I had a feeling they were doing because in my previous video, I talked about how when I first found the topic and I was planning on covering it, the user scores were all the way down to a 3.2, but in only a few hours they shot up to a 3.9, and while I was making the video I pointed out how it went all the way up to a 4.0, and it seemed suspicious, like how did it jump that far unless it was being positively kind of review bombed. And while yes, there were a lot of positive reviews added in that time, I bet they were also removing negative ones and it was changing the score. They might say their interest is to stop toxicity, but in the end, we all know what this is. It's the same thing Rotten Tomatoes has attempted to do, which is add tools to protect the corporations from criticism, and that's all this boils down to. They hide behind people who were actual bad actors because there will always be these people, and emphasize their actions to deflect actual criticism by claiming the majority of it is coming from bad actors like these, when really it's just to protect corporate interest. It's almost exactly what Rotten Tomatoes has done in the past, and it's why we're always questioning if Rotten Tomatoes has deleted and manipulated scores. You can't trust numbers on platforms that do this, and unfortunately, Metacritic is the next big one to take this leap. I will definitely be keeping my eyes on the Horizon Forbidden West scores, and it is currently still sitting at a 4.0, but from when I did my previous video, the scores haven't changed, and the rating number really hasn't changed either. I feel like they are either not allowing any new reviews to go on, or they are picking and choosing which ones are added, but I will keep my eye on this, and if there is a big update, I will be covering it in another video, but for now, that's all that I really had to discuss. If you enjoyed this, and of course found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.